Back-to-back news breaks coming in. This coming in with respect to the 5-day biannual Army Commanders Conference that began yesterday. What we're getting to know is that officials' detailed deliberations have been planned to assess the possible implications of the war in Ukraine for regional security as well as various military aspects of the conflict as well. The commanders are also carrying out a comprehensive review of India's military preparedness along the 3,400-kilometer long LAC in view of the lingering military standoff with China. We have Shivani joining us from the national capital. Shivani, good morning. What is the latest you're picking up with respect to this 5-day biannual Army Commanders Conference that began yesterday?
Good morning, Samiksha. This is the day 2 of the Commanders Conference that takes place twice every year. That's why we call it a biannual Commanders Conference. It takes place in April and also in October. So when in April the commanders are meeting, they definitely review the deployments and how in certain commands, especially the sensitive commands in the northern borders, along the northern and the western borders, how the deployments have been and what were the challenges during the winters and what is the preparedness for the summer deployments now. And we all know that the Russian-Ukrainian war is continuing and the Indian top military commanders are also holding deliberations on the implications of this particular war and what lessons Indian Army should learn from this war, because the Russian tanks that have been destroyed by the Ukrainian forces, similar equipment is also being used by the Indian Army. So what can be the future prospects or changes in the procurement of these weapons and armaments is also being discussed. Then how is the operational preparedness, especially along the line of actual control? We've been in a standoff with China since May 2020. So how is the dialogue progressing? What is the situation on ground? How is the infrastructure build-up plan going? All this is being discussed in this 5-day long conference. All the commands are giving presentations on the important achievements and the challenges of their particular command, and how the indigenization of the army is going on and what can be reviewed, what all other equipment and platforms can be procured indigenously will also be discussed here, because a number of projects are in the pipeline and that need to be reviewed. Yes.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for taking us through all those updates. So we will be also watching out as to what really comes out of this biannual conclave which is underway. So moving on, we have
realize there's a lot of things happening about transacting those assets, the crypto assets, which we don't recognize as currency. Because currency is that which is backed by a bank, the central bank of the country or the government of that country. So that is yet to happen in our country, and it is going to happen sometime this year. Essentially, by taxing, we were trying to make sure that we are keeping a trail and also making sure these are going to be eventually compliant with anti-money laundering rules, and making sure that these kind of operations don't end up inadvertently to funding any kind of terror activities. So we wanted to be sure when there was no regulation happening, these activities which were becoming now fairly extensive are kept an eye on, and there should be a financial implication on them and therefore the tax.